One of these days I'm going to hit leave. All right. What's going on, everybody? It is Seamen on Film, the April edition of 2023. And that means we watched Role Models, the Paul Rudd and Sean William Scott, Elizabeth Banks vehicle. This movie came out in 2008 because I had was it 2000's, I think it was action comedy. Let me double check my comedy drama, rather, was my category. And because I took the mulligan on 80s horror, because for some reason I always get that category.
You should have picked Christine again.
Right.
So we could see that slut walking down the hallway in those clothes.
Right. Oh man. But yeah, the movie was 2008. It made 67 million domestic or worldwide or something. And it finished 44th that year, which was slightly better than The Happening, and not quite as good as Day the Earth Stood Still. Yeah,
that's not fair though. It had Keanu in it, so.
Right. Yeah. Well, I discounted that it did better than the Hannah Montana Miley Cyrus Best of Both Worlds concert. I don't really consider that being a kind of cinematic notoriety.
You could thank Herschel's wife Patrice for that Hannah Montana doing so well. She saw it 3 times in the theater. Her and Maddie.
Probably.
Lord. Yeah. So let's go with first take or whatever, initial reactions to the movie. Then I'll go through the synopsis and then we'll dig deeper in. Kind of first take, Adam, what was your?
Yeah, so I remember really enjoying it back when it first came out. A huge Paul Rudd fan. I think I was a low-key like John William Scott fan as well.
And he was hot off of the Stifler run, so
yeah. So yeah, so I was super excited to watch Role Models, and I just want to like quickly say like this movie captured that time frame perfectly, and like even like how sometimes you go back through a movie and man, what were they wearing? I think they were well dressed for that period of time. Yeah. That's one of the things that stood out to me. But yeah, I was super excited to watch this movie.
Yeah, all right. With Dutch, you son of a bitch.
I remember this one vividly. Because I am a Sean William Scott fan, because I do love Stifler and I love the American Pie movies. I remember seeing like the first trailer for this when it came on TV, and I just thought how disappointing that's going to be. I said, what? That just looks like it's going to suck, and then of course we see it because it's the time frame that we're all on the cook. It comes out, and just right off the bat I said, oh, unlike other movies where they try to show you good parts, Role Models trailer only showed like the bad parts. Like stuff like, oh, it's going to be a plain movie. But right when this thing took off, it was awesome. And I loved it. The humor in it was great. I loved Ken Marino as a writer.
He's great.
And yeah, it completely impressed me just from the get-go. And I've seen it more than once, Adam. You can let Sabrina know that. I've seen it more than once in the past 3 months.
Nice. Herschel?
I'll be honest with you. This is one that I kind of forgot about because it really does get overshadowed by a lot of other stuff. Not necessarily better stuff, but, when you say Sean William Scott, you automatically go to American Pie, and you try to go off the beaten path, you go Dukes of Hazzard. So it kind of fell through the cracks a little bit, if you ask me. However, watched it yesterday, and I had forgotten how funny it was. It is a genuinely funny movie. I don't know that Patrice enjoyed it as much as I did, but I can tell you my 19-year-old son thought it was pretty hilarious. And I'd say he's probably the target audience.
Yeah.
But I mean, hell, I was still laughing out loud. It was a good pick, man. Again, this one I had forgotten about. So lot better than I remember, to be honest with you.
Mhm. All right, Joe.
I'm a big Sean William Scott guy. I could, and not even for American Pie as much as other things. And I'm sure that'll come up later. When this, this is what 2008, so I was already out of the Navy, so I didn't get to enjoy it with you guys. But I remember like the previews and stuff coming out and everything. And then when I did see, I bought it before I had ever seen it. So I already knew it was Sean William Scott, and then a guy from Kansas City. We got Paul Rudd. So I mean, like he's kind of a big deal around here, and in Hollywood even. He's been the star of many a film.
Mhm.
So we don't get too many super celebrities around here, but we take what we can get, and Paul Rudd's a good one to have. So, but I remember watching this movie and great, fucking hilarious. All the people that, and it's not even the Sean William Scott and Paul Rudd, it's everybody else that makes this movie like so much more interesting to me. I've been watching things like Adult Swim since it very first started on Cartoon Network, and like having grown up watching all that stuff up until, I mean, at this point in time, I'm like 26 years old. This movie comes out and it's got Ken Marino, it's got Jolo in it, it's got Matt Walsh, it's got all these people that have been in all these things that I have loved. Upright Citizens Brigade, Reno 911, all that stuff, and my buddy and I, after we watched it, we talked like fucking Jolo for like a month, like rubba dub dub. Good morrow.
Joe Latrulio is like so underrated sometimes.
I don't know how he's so why he's not getting more stuff, but he is a fantastic like secondary character, tertiary character, whatever. I mean, in everything he's in. Brooklyn Nine-Nine, he's fantastic, but he is so underrated in my personal opinion. But anyway, back to the question at hand. First impression back in 2008 when I saw this thing, loved it. I've seen it a bunch of times. It's fucking hilarious. It's a great pick.
Yeah. So the movie is, Paul Rudd, which is Danny, and Sean William Scott, who is Wheeler, are energy beverage reps. As I guess this was kind of like
Spokesman.
The beginning of like the energy drink wars. Like Monster was hot on the scene, coming in to challenge Red Bull, the established veteran there, and everything else. And they go around in this company bull vehicle, talking to kids, basically doing the modern day dare talk, but drink energy drinks and get sugar and hyper out of your mind kind of thing, instead of taking Ritalin or something. I guess essentially. Sean William Scott thinks it's great because he's the mascot and just kind of is the dancing monkey, whereas Paul Rudd's the pitch man in the suit playing it straight there. And they have like a decent, perceivably a decent gig going. Like it's not a bad day. Like you are done with work by 3:00 by the time you hit the school circuit and everything else, pushing the energy drink, trying to get, I guess, sponsorship or something to put them in soda machines in the cafeteria or whatever else, and he then comes back to the office on his 10-year anniversary, which apparently is prime time, like 3-4 o'clock. Seems a little bit early for karaoke, but I guess that's what you're gonna do in corporate America, is have a randomly early non-alcoholic karaoke fest.
Well, this is where we see the cameo by Jorma Tacome too. So he's in this. Wheeler, she's tasting your beast.
the third time this would probably be the first time or the second time in movie history that he's sang, and it had been like really, really, really bad and off key. He sang to his stuffed animals in
Hot Rod.
Hot
right?
Rod. He did this, and then in Can't Stop, Never, or Don't Stop, Never Stop.
Yeah.
Pop star. He was known as the one that couldn't sing but could make rad beats.
Yeah.
And when he tried to sing, everyone's like, "Oh God!"
With his weird helmet. But yeah, I'd like to say, like, whenever I was talking about it, just right out the gates being funny, you know, the first scene is Paul Rudd's waiting on Sean William Scott, and this girl drops him off, and he just puts his fingers under Paul Rudd's nose.
It's like, who's ever done that?
I was like, that's not that wasn't in the preview. And then they're out there doing their whole Minotaur. And they have the badass Minotaur truck. But then, you know, the kid wants these kids these days think they can talk shit to adults, you know, like we haven't heard it before.
Right.
They go, "You gay cow." And he's like, and Paul Rudd, the straight man, just says, "Oh no, it's not a cow. It's a mythical creature. It's a Minotaur. And he got this one out of your mom's closet." And Sean William Scott goes, "Yeah, she gave it to me after I fucked her." I said, and that's when I said, "Oh, okay, all right. This movie, it's not what I thought it was going to be."
Oh.
So nice intro to all those whole pissing Shrek piss, you know.
Yeah.
Arguing about Kiss, rock and roll all night, partying every day. Andy, I thought that would be one of your favorite lines.
Yeah. It was,
like, nah, I got errands to run. I could do part of every day.
yeah. Part
Paul Stanley's fucking tired of Kiss, and they are.
yeah.
Paul Stanley's got to be tired of Kiss.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have the party and everything, and then Paul Rudd's like, "Yeah, I kind of really need to do something with my life, I guess, you know, reevaluate things." So he's gonna go propose to his oddly dressed girlfriend, Elizabeth Banks. Like, some of her wardrobe was rather just weird. Didn't make a lot of sense. But
trying to be
like
a
the
lawyer.
corset on the outside was very strange.
This is what we're talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, the movie was, you know, it was different than I remembered. Like, it was still what I remembered, but it was like, I don't know. But
You noticed fucking corsets on her outfit, but yeah, she was dressed like a slut.
Yeah. She was asking for it.
Any fashion app.
Yeah.
She got a
D
D.
minus.
Yeah. And she's apparently some kind of, I'm guessing, like a civil
Public
case
defense.
lawyer or whatever she's doing, like trying to defend horrible employees and stuff like that, and criminal defense and whatnot else. You know, Paul Rudd barges in to propose unexpectedly, and she completely shoots him down, as she should, I guess.
Right in front of Phil Collins.
Yeah. Well, not that Phil Collins, but yes.
Do you guys think that Paul Rudd should have been acting that way? It was his life. Do you think his life is that bad to where he just everything bothers him? And I know we message back and forth about things that bother us in airports, but he's trying to order a coffee. Like, no, you're stupid, in 3 languages. And I got it. I knew what venti meant. But
yeah, that was
the fact that he's 30, he's supposed to be what, 35 years old in this movie?
He's always 35.
Right. I mean, you know, vampire Hollywood blood. So you know, at a certain age, and I'm sure
you're over a barista shit because they're pretentious.
Where I think
assholes.
that, like, and like South Park did an episode like this too, where just like a certain age, it's just like clicks, and like it's like everything sounds like shit, everything looks like shit, everything is shit on TV, everything here is shit, but yet all this stuff is popular. Is, you know, like, why does no one else see it this way? Everything's shit. And then, like, Stan became an alcoholic just so he could deal with all the shit and then be able to survive, even though his friends were all into dumb shit that he hated, all the shit that he thought was shit. So I think that Paul Rudd's hitting this wall of, you know, he turns on the radio, turns on the TV, you know, and then he goes to get some coffee and he has to answer these stupid fucking questions from, you know, I mean, I get it. I don't think that, you know, it would make me rush out and propose, but you know, I get it. Like everything's turned to shit, but yeah, you just end up swallowing that down and then drinking it away later.
But you know, and Wheeler seems to be enjoying this job.
Yeah, I mean, he's the dancing monkey. He gets to wear the suit. Nobody really knows, you know, who he is per se, and he gets to like bed down all these hot moms and whatnot else because he's still like riding that high school popularity kind of thing he's had going for, you know, that he's holding on to. Basically, is essentially his archetype.
He's got killer pickup lines too.
Yeah.
Can I just say that this actually did kind of make me feel bad about my own life because I was watching
You
this
didn't
thing
have a Minotaur friend?
and I was like, man, this is the shit I complain. Like I have these conversations with Chris all the time about all this stupid shit that bugs me, and I know I relay that to Sabrina, and like Sabrina is not Elizabeth Brain. She's putting up with me, and I started feeling bad about myself. Like, oh man, maybe I should relax a little bit.
Yeah, I found out a lot about Adam when he visited San Diego. Hates crowds, hates going to places where the parking is not easy, like just like me. I think from now on, when you start complaining, one of us has just got to yell out, "Game face, bro!"
Yeah.
Minotaur.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, yeah.
So then
I try not to sound like a stick in the mud when I list the things of certain thing that I don't like. You know, like
Yeah.
I enjoy going into a city, but I don't enjoy the people. I don't enjoy the fucking trash on the ground. I don't enjoy, you know, I have a list that's so crazy. Does it affect my decision to go? Yeah, sometimes. But I mean, I end up going to do something. I prefer not to.
Yeah.
but you know, just because I bitch about it or whatever, I'm not a stick in the fucking mud. You know, I'm just not going to I just don't like certain things. Like I try to avoid those unless they're unavoidable, you know? I'm not going downtown every weekend. I'll tell you that. I'll go downtown 4 times a year, maybe.
Yeah.
If downtown's lucky enough.
Right.
But
Yeah.
you know, yeah. So
when Adam came down here, he came down on a Saturday afternoon. He wanted to meet around Balboa Park in San Diego, and they're having a fucking Lair festival there. So it was like extra people. And I said, holy shit, man, there's not going to be any parking anywhere.
Yeah.
That's why he was angry that day.
Yeah. So then after getting shot down by his, I guess, ex-girlfriend to a degree at this point or whatever, then begins a you know, the cliche, you know, character spiral. You know, everything goes off the rails. He starts phoning it in, if that, at work, you know, telling his kids, yeah, you could drink this shit or do drugs, who cares? This is basically you know, runoff from Chernobyl here that you're putting in your body. You know, I don't care what you do. I piss green. My kidneys are about to explode. I don't care. Minotaur, yeah. And then they have a run in with the tow truck driver, you know, because they're hitting all the best people. The bullshit barista that's too good for her own minimum wage job, and then the tow truck driver that, granted, they did, you know, blatantly run up and park in the loading zone there or whatever. So, but yeah, and the ridiculous driving the truck off the tow truck scene where they then somehow mount up the statue in front of the high school, which makes no sense, but you know, comedically looks great.
Why did Louis C.K. take that part? I don't understand. He's just playing a cop. No Louis C.K. type stuff, you know.
Yeah. I don't know. Probably owed a favor or something to whoever, I'm guessing.
Hey man, you got to
Like
pay
a-
the bills,
Yeah.
even if
You
you're
know.
making skill.
yeah, paying the bills, dude. I mean, it's like Amy Poehler, you know, doing like a part in like Deuce Bigelow. You know, like you know, it's just weird to go back and watch something like that and be like, oh, really? You're doing this, you know, like,
Yeah.
but it was just, you know, had to make the money somehow.
I
And,
think also, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think also, I mean, this is 2008. and we're looking at it from 2023. You know, they weren't necessarily, you know,
Yeah, it didn't have
body
like
work is not what it was 15 years.
Life with
later.
Louie money yet, or
Yeah.
Lucky Louie or whatever the
Yeah.
preceding series. He had Pootie Tang money and what, like invention of line or something basically at that point. So
Yeah.
they didn't have a lot.
So yeah, he was Paul Rudd's in his downward spiral at this point to
Yeah.
where he and yeah, I think you're right about that barista. Like if you're working that job, right? Are you that fucking bubbly? No, you mean venti.
Yeah.
You kind of know what they meant. It just reminds me of time I went to the movie theater with my kids, and I just wanted the two small Cokes for my kids.
Yeah. Fucking liter of cola.
Yeah, the lady says, "We don't have small, sir." I was like, "What do you have?" She's like, "We have medium, large, and extra large."
Yeah.
No, the medium's the small. The
Oh,
large
yeah.
is
Yeah. Well, that's because we had to rename all the sizes to confuse everybody.
and I
Because
said, "What?"
Did like weights and measures of the cola company come out and say like if it's this many ounces, it's a medium?
no, it was
No.
basically Morgan Spurlock did that Super Size Me thing, and then whatever the New York governor or mayor had that war on large soda beverages, so they just renamed everything.
Either way, I think they
Just
just
slide it under the rug, basically.
I remember
soda into a popcorn
Boston Bob when they got rid of Super Size. So I was in the military, man. We were in there.
Yeah,
And he would order what he called a bucket of fries at McDonald's. And I was like, I don't know what that is. Like he'd always tell me, order me a bucket of fries. And what it was is it was a supersized cup
yeah.
that was jammed full of French fries.
Oh, yeah.
It was like their way to get around
Yeah.
supersized fries.
Nice.
yeah, and it's like, why is the school calling the tow truck company on this guy? They know he's there doing a
Yeah.
shit in the
Yeah, it's not like it was on his
PRC.
route and he was like, oh, here's a tow. Get my fees going. Yeah. Though probably if they saw that he was parked out front and he had just told the kids, yeah, I do drugs or whatever, this is toxic runoff, you might as well do whatever with your life. I don't give a shit. Like yeah, let's get him out of here. So I'm sure that all somehow coincided. But yeah, so then they sent him to Angel Wings or whatever.
Sturdy Wings.
Sturdy Wings.
The perfect name for a dumbass organization.
Yeah. Which has the cliche of the super into the program loser, Martin
Gary.
We have
And always spot a newbie.
Yeah. And the unfunny Jane Lynch, is the host with her, absurd backstory of doing cocaine and
I just say
blowing guys for more cocaine so she can blow more guys. I don't know.
Jane
You
Lynch.
didn't think she was funny?
Yeah, she's amazing in this movie.
I don't think she's ever been funny.
She's pretty funny in this, man.
I don't know.
She's amazing.
Funny and 40-year-old virgin.
And just
like those
coming out of the
two
TV, with that dance, just right there to set it off,
Yeah.
Sturdy Wings.
Well, her dad was a traveling salesman and her mother was out of necessity, was a whore.
Yeah.
Her backstory is fantastic. It's like it's not as good as like Dr. Evil's, but it's a pretty good backstory.
It's almost literally Dr. Evil's
she had cocaine for breakfast, cocaine for lunch.
Yeah.
You don't even want to know what she had for dinner. It was
More
cocaine.
cocaine. Yeah. The writing was overall lazy on this movie as a whole, I think, but that's another thing. Yeah, because I'm at that Paul Rudd, everything's kind of bullshit garbage. But anyways, so they get into Sturdy Wings and we get the you get it's basically the Big Brother program, but more urban, I guess. I don't know. And you get the pairings, you get your littles to be in the bigs because of course in Hollywood the justice system is wildly fantastical and whimsical, where if you commit heinous crimes you can be sentenced to years in prison, or you could coach rec league hockey for children, or you could go to the Big Brother program, and it'll all be forgiven.
Or you could join the military.
I mean, like their sentence is I think pretty fucking stiff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you could get
I mean,
10
you have
years,
to-
or you could go into the Big
Yes,
Brother.
they do 150 hours in 30 days. Dude,
Yeah,
that's 2 full-time
it's
jobs.
for sure. It's a lot.
I no, I think I'm going to jail. I think I'm just going to go
Yeah.
spend 30 days in county. I mean,
Yeah.
like, what else am I going to do?
Yeah, we've all. Well, it's easy to say though because we've all been underway. We've done it.
Yeah.
And I don't think you have to do the hours in 30 days. It's either
No, it's
one or the other.
yeah.
No,
It
that was
said, it
that
said
was
30
that,
days, 150 hours in
they,
30
They
days.
had to do. That's why it was such
That was the premise. Yeah.
Yeah.
They had to do so many, like, that's why like Big Bear, they went to Big Bear because they were like, shit, that's like 24 hours. Like, because the first weekend they were only able to get 14. And they were like, we have to get them during the week. Maybe we can pretend we're their uncles and get them out of school.
Yeah, we have to be we have to raise these kids in this month.
Like they have to like,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be there. And yeah, it's an impossible task. Like I said, I would
To
just
be fair, that they weren't really working. They were on hiatus.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah, they were
that is
on
also
administrative
true.
leave, so they had the time.
Yeah.
But these kids still have, to go to school and listen through whatever drink sponsor came in while Minotaur was away and everything else. But Wheeler gets paired up with the I don't know, the feisty young black youth.
What up, Ronnie? It's good to meet you. What you drawing there? Oh, Beyonce. She's smoking.
I don't want to take my pants off.
What? Whoa, whoa.
All right, Ronnie, that's enough.
Who
Comes
has
from a
already
single
run
mother
through
home.
he's already run through like 5, probably
Yeah.
5 Martin Garys. Although Martin Gary, goes back to the wet, hot American summer cast. He started bringing Ken Marino, bringing in these guys, but he was hilarious. And what is the kid's name? It's like Bobby Thompson. And
Bobby Thompson, is the actor.
Like that.
Kansas City kid.
Who's Ronnie? Yeah. And then
this kid has also been in Human Giant. If you've ever watched that show, it was an MTV sketch show that was Rob Hubel,
I remember it. Yeah,
Paul Scheer, and Aziz Ansari. And like the first season revolved around them being in a child star agency, and the president of that agency was this little kid.
Oh, really?
And he plays the exact same character, and it's crazy funny.
Yeah.
So I mean, like, I think it's the only 2 things this kid's ever done.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
But
yeah, I mean,
think
like he's a great character actor, but he's also like super cliche. He's the smart mouth, urban kid that's just gonna talk about the most ridiculous adult topics, like he's a hard gangster from South LA or something.
Yeah, this scene though is like, it just exacerbates the way Paul Rudd feels. And after watching it, I was like, I'd probably go to jail too, Joe.
Yeah.
I probably, because they sit there, they got Martin Gary. I can always spot a noob, and he's like, trade seats with me right now. And you gotta like entertain
blow
this
my
fucking
brains
guy.
out.
Martin Gary's the guy who like fucking just runs down the pier and catches up with your group, goes, hey guys, I signed out with you.
Yeah.
You're like, no.
Yeah,
And
he is
then,
that guy.
you got
No
the
Martin.
women over there talking about the pregnant lady, talking to that fucking baby talk, and Paul Rudd's like, I can't fucking do this.
Yeah.
And I was like, I agree with this guy. I said,
I have no problem, like, for the record, if I was given community service to do a program like this, I would do it because it's court ordered for sure. But we have to be realistic. Like, I can't do 150 hours in 30 days. I cannot do that.
Yeah, you're the kid's parent at that point.
I'm picking this kid up at 5:30. I'm getting work at 5. I gotta find this kid at 5:30 and go pick him up, and then what? Hang out with him until the streetlights come on. I would never be able to get that many hours unless he moved in with me.
Yeah.
And then by that point, that's too weird. So I can't do it at all.
Yeah. So then Danny gets paired up with the most precious of wingers, Augie, the LARPing loser, again, classic archetype up there, where he's such a nerd that he's
cool.
he's completely sequestered himself from everybody else, doing his own thing, thinking he's basically borderline autistic as they portray him, that wears a cape all the time.
Constantly.
Yeah. Because that's a good one.
I like that he had his own music playing in a little fucking boombox.
Yeah.
It wasn't nobody was scoring the movie. It was him playing the shit.
Don't judge me. This routine's not finished yet.
Yeah.
Hilarious. I got to tell you, man, growing up, it was like 1985. We lived literally across the street from a park. And one Sunday, all of these people started pulling into the park, and they got out and started putting on all this fake ass armor and foam swords and foam lances.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the hell was going on. I thought, Jesus Christ, the world is coming to an end. And I'm sitting on the front porch just watching this shit. And they would come out we didn't have the internet. I didn't know.
However they figure
gay
it out.
adults in the park, whatever, I don't know what to Google, but they would come out every Sunday. And that was my intro into LARPing. I didn't, it was probably 15 years before I heard the term LARP.
Yeah. It's
like,
once you saw that, you just turned around and said, Dad, I got an idea for Jason 5.
I remember I went up to Trashmore one weekend day, and it was with a friend, and
man.
there's a bunch of people doing it there, and it was probably not long after I saw this movie, and I was like, holy shit.
It exists.
That's a real thing that happens, and I just saw it, and it's exactly basically as ridiculous as it looked in the movie. But now I play a couple different games of D&D with friends, so I'm 2 steps away from being that guy.
Yeah, but you're not dressing up like that and going out in public.
He's dressed like it right now. Look at that shirt.
That's true.
Right, but
yak hair.
I wish I had the courage to go do something like that. I do. I mean, I love that shit, dude. I love that shit. But I've never been into theater or anything, so it's contradictory. I understand, but man, dude, I love swords. You guys know I love dragons. I've told you this.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So I mean,
would you do a Matthew McConaughey suicide jump to win one of these?
Actually, if I could LARP as Matthew McConaughey, that'd be in that movie. Yeah, okay, I'd be fine with that actually. But and the dressing up part, that's super cool. I think I don't own any medieval gear, by the way, but I do go to the Renaissance Festival, and I've been debating for the last 2 years, bro, just get a tunic real quick.
Yeah,
spend the money on it. Get a tunic, and then get one of those horns to drink out of, and then walk around.
Get a turkey leg,
and just do it, man. Just do it. I mean, you're 40 years old. What's the big deal now?
Yeah.
So what's stopping you, man? What is
well, it's not October yet. As soon as October runs around, I think I'm just going to do it when the Renaissance Festival is back in town.
Yeah,
do it.
Follow
your dreams. Follow your dreams.
Yeah. So hats off to those LARPers out there that
keep
put their pride away for a little bit and just do what they always wanted to do: run around with sick ass swords and shit. I'm into it.
I wanted to ask, Wheeler gets to meet Ronnie, and Ronnie throughout this movie had the most amazing drawings of his penis. This is like a superhero type penis here.
Yeah.
And it's the first picture was Beyonce pouring sugar on my dick. It was who comes up with that?
Martin.
It was his superhero was the titty man or something.
Booby watcher.
We could see
this.
It's a booby watcher.
When he said he tried to grab my hang down. and fucking Sean William Scott's like, I've got my own hang down, thank you. Like,
Yeah.
I thought that was, yeah, I'm gonna definitely bring hang down into my vocabulary a little bit
Vernacular.
more.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you guys, growing up where you grew up, what was your Chuck E. Cheese called? Because they went to like Chipmunk Charlie's. Mine was called Showbiz, which was part of the Chuck E. Cheese brand, or it was a rival, but you had the same characters on stage
really?
playing. And then I leave Columbus, Georgia, and I go to Virginia Beach for school in the Navy, and they had Billy Bob's on like Lynn Haven.
Yeah.
And so
Sounds right.
I said, well, Billy Bob was just a guitar player at the Showbiz that I grew up at. And then by that time, Chuck E. Cheese took over everybody, and they were all just renamed. What was it called in your city?
I remember we had like a competitor to Chuck E. Cheese or whatever that was called Discovery Zone, which like ditched the animatronic band and everything else, but was just about the cheap pizza and the, you know, jungle gym thing. Remember that was a thing.
I don't remember, honestly. Because we had one in town, but I can't remember if it was Showbiz or by that time if it was Chuck E. Cheese, man. I really don't remember.
So I remember the commercials, Showbiz Pizza.
Where a kid can be a kid or something like that.
Yeah.
We
remember.
had Showbiz Pizza. I've got pictures probably of my. I know my mom has pictures of Showbiz Pizza outings when I was a kid. Was it a hillbilly jug band animatronic? It's awesome.
Yeah.
That was Billy
Yeah.
Bob.
Yeah. It was like Emmett Otter. Yeah.
They had Fats, who was the big gorilla playing the keyboard, and I
He had
said,
sunglasses
Or-
on.
yeah. But I was just wondering, man, because it was different in a couple of cities I've gone to. And this Chipmunk Charlie's, nowadays you look at it and you're like, that animatronic shit was kind of spooky.
Oh yeah.
Creepy as fuck.
Nick
Right.
Cage made a horror movie about it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
you,
great.
and you don't realize how dirty that place was. You know,
Oh,
you're
yeah.
just running around and playing.
Yeah, back before we realized how, you know, every pandemic
back in
started
the
in
day,
somebody's
you
ball
know,
pit.
Everybody like ate cigarette butts and pennies and shit off the ground. Like,
Yeah.
you know, it look at us now.
Yeah, look now, they're putting bitter flavorings on batteries so kids don't eat. No, we just went ahead and ate them when we were kids. And the
And we
doctor's
liked
like,
it.
"What?" Yeah, the doctor's like, he'll shit it out in like a day or two.
Yep.
Just give him some of this. Follow it up with some KO pectate.
KO.
Yeah.
But yeah, this little Chipmunk Charlie's where we find out about what's his name, Augie. The way he likes to eat fucking chicken fingers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or he's like one of the best lines I've ever
Train
heard.
on 'em.
And I'll say this, like we were doing all the lines from this movie on the ship.
Yeah.
And somebody would be like, hey, I'm running to the soda machines. What do you want? You want a Coke? I like the idea of Coke better. Somebody would always say something stupid and be like, whoa. And of course we're all talking like Jolo, you know.
Yeah.
Venus has lifted her skirt.
Her bosom.
Yeah.
Apollo has lifted his skirt.
Yeah. Yeah, but now we got the two kids now, and
Yeah, and of course we meet King Argatron, you know, and his crew that eat at the not Denny's across the street before every battle and everything
Burger
else.
The burger hole.
Yeah, the burger, which that always stuck out was the you know pre LARPing, you know, Breakfast of Kings, you know, and everything else. And how crazy that was. Yeah, we see Ken Jeong and Matt Walsh and others.
now
Yeah.
you say you didn't like Jane Lynch. I'm not a big Ken Jeong fan. He gets really boring really fast to me.
He can, yeah, for sure. But
This was when I thought like this like time period here, and I was just talking about this when I first gave this a run through, that this was like prime Ken Jeong to me. Like,
yeah, it was right
where
before he did
like when he did, like, I thought he was hilarious and Knocked Up. Like,
Yeah,
I
it
thought
was
he was
in
one of the better parts of
the
Knocked
OBG.
Up, in
Well,
my
because
personal opinion.
he's a real doctor.
Yeah, but I mean, like, you want a magical experience, then go to a Jimmy Buffett concert.
Yeah.
Like that to me, like he was like bust, and this stuff that he was doing here was hilarious. Like
Yeah.
the finger in the face,
Yeah.
the bow like your daughter does or something. Like he's just completely ridiculous. And then then he does he plays a little Asian mobster guy, and
I liked him in this, and
I
I
think he
liked him
goes
in
over the top.
Hangover Part One.
Yeah.
Hangover Part One, then Hangover. I mean, it just got a little out of hand.
Yeah, in Hangover Part 2, I was done. I was like, I don't need to see anymore.
He was good in Community too, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the Spanish feature.
So I liked him. I guess I liked him. Yeah, I guess Community kind of started around 2008, 2009 time
Did it
frame.
start that early?
Yeah.
Did it? Hell,
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it did.
I think it was like 12.
Andy, I'm going to tell you this, man. When I start thinking about things and I realize it's 2023
Yeah.
and all this shit happened in the 2000s, and I'm like, holy shit, that was almost 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, the last 20 years of my life have flown by.
Yeah.
The first 20 went by slow as shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, look what it's done to Herschel.
Right?
He's 30
So over here,
buddy.
get my Craig T. Nelson hair.
Yeah. So they get in their groove here, as Joe said, like they have 150 hours to fill up, and they have realized that they have to go full force on this. So they hit their stride. Everything's going well. Danny and Augie are getting into Lair. Wheeler and Ronnie are talking about Kiss and nailing broads, and all those kinds of things. As a positive role model would.
I don't want to skip over all the great lines here as they're starting to get. They're in the Bronco, Wheeler's Bronco, and they're complaining. And that Paul Rudd has just spent the day in Middle Earth with leap globs and floop-de-doos.
Yeah.
And Wheeler's like, I got carjacked. What do you think about Ronnie sending him into there to get him an orange juice? And then what's her name? Jane Lynch is in there getting her bagel dog on.
That made me uncomfortable.
What's that remind you of, huh?
Yeah.
So then
Again,
Ronnie,
not funny, Jane Lynch. Yeah.
Yeah, Ronnie's carjacking him. But the good response was, the good response from Wheeler was when we start talking about, Andy, you said top 5 qualities of role models.
Yeah.
Was that when Wheeler got back in that car and he's like, give me my orange juice, and he fucking drunk it in his fucking face. And you bitch. That right there. That is a quality role model.
Yeah.
You don't give in to this motherfucker.
I feel like one of us, we've probably done something like that. Didn't probably to Alex's kid or something one night, I'm sure. But we just gotta get over the kid. Like, you know what? Now this happens.
Yeah, it was like Augie was trying to bond, right away, and he's, you want to come see my turtle?
Yeah.
He's like, I'm good. And he's, of course, as they're driving off, it's just a little throwaway line. Was, of course, he's got a turtle. And the whole thing was like, did you see that spell of Unbreakable Madness I cast? I was like, did any of you see it? And he's just like, no.
Yeah.
So it's great lines, and great, starts to show them how are they going to bond with these kids, because Wheeler's trying really hard. Danny's just going through the motions. And like you said, they bonded in the Big Bear, right?
Yeah, so they go on the trip there, and of course Wheeler finally gets his chance at the hot chick that was engaged, but only within the normal area code.
Greater LA area.
So he gets to hook up with Connie, played by Carly Craig there, and ends up bare-assed in the middle of the campsite the next morning.
Classic guy on the ground right there.
Yeah.
I like when Paul Rudd was like, there's always a guy with the guitar that doesn't quite know how to play it or something like that.
Yeah.
That was
That's
Not
another
worse,
running
but also
joke.
like a partly accurate thing. Because there's always that guy that like is trying and like knows like maybe one Jack Johnson song or some bullshit that's just enough to like entertain a few girls, but
Oh,
they aren't
Andy,
really actually good.
Andy, do you listen to Jack Johnson?
Not really. He's good. He has some good songs, but you know.
Ever since I saw Ben Stiller in that video, I'm just like, what is this crap? But
Yeah.
I want to go back to
Very George soundtrack's gonna be good.
I wanted to go back to Ronnie and Wheeler finally bonding over boobies,
Yeah.
which is a tale as old as time.
Yeah.
That's how men bond. They talk about boobs.
Yeah.
You know, so they did this, and Wheeler started showing it, like became Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
And Bobby, Bobby Thompson, the Jedi, learning how to look at boobies, and we got this in common. They start getting along, and I don't want to like, I don't want to I don't want to gloss over the horror story that Martin told around the fire. And who's at the door holding the severed head of Billy's mom's sister? It was, what, Philip. And I said, and then, they asked Paul Rudd to go, and he's, and well, we get a cameo from Keegan Michael Key here.
Yeah.
He's one of the big brothers, It was like,
Yeah.
s'mores with white chocolate. And Martin Garrett's like, I don't know how I feel about that, but okay.
Yeah.
And this is, I guess, where they bonded with the kids. And then we get the musical montage of them spending time, right? And
Yeah. We get the
it's
montage.
always Mr. Blue Sky by ELO, isn't it? For a lot of musical montages.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say that about Wheeler.
It was a
Wheeler
very
connected
good
with
It was a very good montage.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Well, only because they had to have the montage because they stuck up for Wheeler and Paul Rudd's
Ronnie.
character.
Danny.
Danny.
Yeah.
Yeah, Danny and Wheeler, because Danny gave Wheeler 6 Ambien. It's like, yeah, we'll just take 3 apiece. Because he was trying to hook up with that chick, and so apparently if you take Ambien and then fight off going to sleep, it's you trip out. I don't know.
Yeah,
but the idea here was that
the Ludes thing from Wolf of Wall Street,
the idea here was that Wheeler was gonna have crazy monkey sex with this engaged gal that
because
she passes out, and then he wanders around. Dinosaurs are still around. People think they're extinct, but birds are dinosaurs. So
I don't need Ambien. If it's after 8 p.m., I'm fighting sleep anyway to have sex, So I'm going to have the same effect.
Yeah.
I don't need to put a belt around my neck either.
Right.
Okay, David Carradine.
Yeah.
Michael Hutchins.
I'm trying to think what the event is. That maybe it was that basically they have a falling out and they get in trouble with the program, so then they're on the rocks, and now it's looking like they're gonna end up going to jail. The court cases around the corner and everything else. So now it's all kind of all for naught.
I wanted to talk about they did the musical montage, so they're all getting along. I want to talk about the falling out part, though.
Yeah.
Another Wheeler pickup line, besides the sexy like a chocolate strawberry that was used again at this part. He went to a party in his neighborhood where this guy kept on Wheeler. He was the king.
Yeah.
The Dimitri Martin wannabe. And
that guy. Yeah.
Wheeler's got to go take a piss. Hey, can you watch Ronnie while I go piss? And he gets in this line, and this hot blonde is like, long line, and his pickup line is, I've seen longer.
Yeah.
And I use that one to this day.
Yeah.
And
of course
works every time.
And he goes in there to have this fantasy with this elementary school teacher. He's like, I really can't. I got this kid with me. He's like, but this is one of my top 4 fantasies. But here's my thing. How long was he fucking? Nobody fucks this long, especially if it's one of your top 4 fantasies. You're done in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Ronnie should still be playing that fucking soccer
lose the game and then be upset and leave.
Right.
Not
Wheeler,
everybody's Damone.
sorry, I don't. Any normal man, no normal man can last more than 8 minutes. You know, that's taking off clothes. No normal man. I'm not talking about Sting, you know, who says he makes love for 8 hours and redirects his orgasms internally and that stupid bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't know anybody who wants to have sex that long.
Yeah.
But it's like
Ric Flair
this
always said
guy,
he was a 60-minute man, you know. So I mean,
yeah,
that's even
he's having
pushing.
sex long enough for Ronnie to walk all the way to. I'm guessing he's living in a different neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, I can recognize that as the canals of Venice, California, where they were. So I was like,
I recognize them from Grand Theft Auto.
you know, they're having sex at a stranger's house at a party that long.
Yeah. And nobody's trying to get into that bedroom for anything.
What kind of like I always look at this when I'm watching these shows nowadays, ever since like, you know, Friends, the curtain was pulled up, like, yeah, there's no way the folks of Friends could afford these places they lived in, even with their roommates. But so what does an apartment like that on the water on a canal like that run you think in what is it? Was that Venice?
Yeah, it's going to be about 3,000 to 4,000.
In
So
2008.
this guy gets paid like that
Yeah.
well, okay, let's just say it was $2,000. This guy's making quite a bit of money for dressing up like a fucking minotaur. If he's making that much money and able to live by himself on the canal, I say do it until you retire.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, if you get to live right
Yeah,
there
but-
in Venice because you're
I
on
mean-
the ocean at that point.
Yeah, I mean, just stick it out, man. You've done it. You've done more than
That,
a lot of people at that
but that
point.
wasn't Wheeler's place. Remember, they went to Wheeler's place, and he was yeah, fucking shithole. You know, the kid's telling him he's living in a shithole. So that wasn't Wheeler's. That was his
Right.
friend's.
That was a house party.
Somebody else's.
Yeah, it's all in that little canal area.
Yeah, it's like he's
It was
across the
on
street.
canal, too, like
And-
across the canal.
I do want to bring this up. When he does go to Wheeler's shithole and sees
Yeah,
the Jewish clowns, every movie that has a Chinese food box, it has to be picked up and smelled and deemed bad.
Oh yeah.
It's never good. It's never good enough to eat. They smell it. It's like, ooh,
Yeah.
you put it back down every time. You have to do that in movies. But they
Good
Worst
started-
horror movie, then you throw it in a blender and drink it.
Yeah.
End of days.
Yeah.
Breakfast
So,
of Champions.
yeah, they have the falling out with, you know, leaving Ronnie at the party. And was it the first time Augie slays the king or whatever? They had that whole
Yeah.
falling out there.
Paul
He didn't
Rudd
back him
violated
up.
some lair rules.
Yeah. And got him banned because he was like, "You're a little shit stain, you fucking 40-year-old man king." You're in lair. So yeah. So they have their falling out. It's all for naught, it seems. And then you know, they decide, you know, we gotta right the ship even if it costs us whatever. So Danny decides to go make amends to King Argatron and get Augie back into the game, even though he had also gotten kicked out of his clan with Jolo and his son. So
His kinsman.
yeah. So now he was a mercenary without a state, which you know, probably the best scene in the movie is you know, they needed to create a new state to wage war in Lair, and they were the you know, Knights of
Kiss my Xanthia.
Kiss My Xanthia, which was a great pun name to run off of that. And they call in Wheeler and Ronnie. And Ronnie is Black Gene Simmons is definitely the best visual in the whole movie. Hands down. It was all about that. The hair and everything is perfect. So yeah, so then they are able to go down in this epic battle that will climax in a
Climax. I like that.
yeah you know, an epic showdown between the king and Augie as he had slayed his guardsmen and in front of the castle, drawn him into a one-on-one duel. And yeah, so he's able to slay the king, and then his secret crush then, you know, rogues out and kills him, so he loses the crown 30 seconds into his reign. You know, and then probably the only time that anybody's really referenced Beth, it's his career is Danny sings to his girlfriend just because the name matches.
I'll tell you what though, me and Chris used to complain about Kiss quite a bit on Cook, and that was one of the songs that did it, because it's just god awful. It's terrible. It's terrible.
It's like
go for it, man. It's like a what?
they were trying to send me IA from the Cook, and I was like, there were people who wanted to go IA. There were people who didn't want to go.
Yeah.
But yet the people who wanted to go were never on the IA list. And then I started thinking, send the Kiss Army first.
Yeah.
And those fuckers. Nobody cares what happens. We got this whole Kiss Army not doing a goddamn thing. You want to send me? I'm already getting underway on this fucking ship. That was back before they had all these rules, It's like, if you're on fucking sea duty, or if you're on sea duty, you just go right back to sea duty after you're done. And if you're on shore duty, you just lose that much time on your fucking shore duty. They didn't give a shit.
Yeah.
And they said, oh, we don't have a problem until everybody just started getting out of the military because they didn't want to do this shit. Yeah. But I used to always rail on Kiss because, and admittedly, I think they know that their writing is subpar. They just want to write some like party songs and get people jacked up, and their whole thing is the show, and they know that.
Yeah, it's a gimmick.
Gene Simmons says he could never write a song like the Beatles, but he's the first to nail marketing, copywriting, publishing. I just don't like their music. I was born in the late 70s, so my first venture with Kiss was the Unmasked era.
There's some
fucking ugly looking goddamn men right there. Fucking Vinnie Vincent. You ever look at Vinnie Vincent? No makeup and Ace Frehley.
It looks worse now, but yeah.
Please stop. Put the shit back on.
Detroit Rock City's a good ass song. Yeah. Everybody knows that for sure.
Well, no.
You don't
Kiss.
They have good songs.
They have some decent songs, but I just think they're overhyped, man. They're not as good as all of these people make them out to be. But that's what lets you know Sean William Scott, he's got some acting chops if he can convince you that he actually likes Kiss that much.
Hey, Love Gun's one of my
Love
favorites.
Gun, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, they've got some decent songs. They're just not as great as the Kiss Army wants you to believe, man. My 2 cents.
What I think a lot makes this movie like really, really funny is just random shit that happens, like Kim Jong walking out of the kingdom or out of the doors of the castle and like stroking the face of like the one of the guards, just like that shit cracked me up. Like Jolo's death scene, that was fantastic. Martin Gary's like knock knock joke. How many Gary Snickle Pickets do you know? Let me in. It's cool. Like this, that, that's the best thing about the movie itself is funny, but if you watch it a second time, maybe I guess and you can gloss over the story in your mind because you already know it, and you can pick up on everybody else. Man, really funny.
On the Carl Vinson, we'd have muster instruction and inspection every morning at quarters, and whenever I walked into the computer room, the attention to quarters, right?
Yeah.
And on this day, I don't know why I thought of it, but on this day, like one of my favorite sailors was the first one that you run into. And as I walked past him to start the inspection, I just rubbed his face like that. And he lost. He's like, what the fuck? He loses it, He's like trying to stand at attention. I just walked past him and did that. And then I said, that's a nice shave you got there, sailor. That way you couldn't write me up or anything for illegal touching. But we didn't, write each other up for that stuff. We just knew it was a joke. But it was just something I just remembered that part, Joe, where he just rubbed the face. So
And like even like Kim Jong, like when he's at the burger hole getting his breakfast and he's being all serious king like, and then the waitress comes by and gives it like waffles. You're like, yep, over right here, and puts him down, and then the hand comes over from one of his lackeys and like puts pepper on his eggs.
Yeah.
Gets, as he's like talking, and then
Like cutting it for him.
you see the guy on the other side like cutting his waffle and like puts it into his mouth. And then another scene, a hand comes out and like dabs his fucking.
Yeah.
He's doing, being a serious king and also a gigantic dick at the same time.
Yeah.
Because I guess if there's a villain in the movie, you'd call it would be this guy would be the villain, and he's only in it for like a grand total of what, 8 minutes.
It's Matt Walsh. Built like a
and,
brick shit house.
Yeah, Matt Walsh is building a brick shit house. I'm cracking up because
Yeah.
It's just that little shit like that was what really made this movie good. And I don't think you get that kind of stuff if like I said, a lot of those actors and stuff, the side people have been working with a lot of these people for a long time. Ken Marino, Jolo, I can't ever think of what her name. I always call her Trudy Weigel.
No, yeah. She's Trudy Weigel.
What's her name? But the Augie's mother. They've been working together for years before this movie comes out. So I mean, like I feel like that I guess it's maybe like a level of comfort or something where they have. Yeah, that's it. And they're just able to, this movie might have had a script that's 8 pages, basically a layout, and then just let everybody else kind of run the movie. And then Sean William Scott and Paul Rudd and Elizabeth Banks have like, this is your shit. Everyone else in the background's just gonna throw random shit out, and we're gonna see what sticks. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, I think they were all comfortable with each other, especially to do that.
Yeah.
And it's whenever I see Jolo Trulio, when I watch him on Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I just can't help, because I always think he's great in that. But I think one of the top 5 characters in TV history is the Andre Braugher playing Captain Raymond Holt.
Yeah.
That another Jorma Tacone.
Deadpan humor is my fucking favorite humor, man.
And
when done well, it's great. Yeah.
We were walking around the cook talking in the Jolo voice for at least 3 months. No matter what, it was like somebody was answering you in that voice. And it was like, so.
Caesar 2, good morrow.
Yeah. Good morrow. That's what we
Lord Mattis, second class.
Duggar's mate.
Lord Mattis of Caesar 2.
Yes.
Yeah.
Also reminds me of was it the time he came back from Liberty, Joe, and he told the lady you would hit him with the level 8 mace? It was a great. We came back from Liberty and we ran into Hayden on like the smoke deck or something, and then he just told me you would hit him with the level 8 mace. Do you remember that?
Who did I say it to?
Hayden, the STG.
Clearly you're inebriated.
Yeah.
It's good timing, man.
Yeah. Which is like the other thing I think of, initially with LARPing was, that line from Joe. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, that's essentially the movie, that everything kind of works out in typical Hollywood fashion. They because Cocaine Breakfast, Jane Litch has a good relationship with the judge. So, the fact that they completely missed the court appearance, they would normally send them immediately to jail and everything else, given the charges. I'll just get it all waived, because she'll call in a favor for sturdy wings.
Well, she's ain't good with a judge because she used to suck his dick for drugs.
Yeah, basically.
Right. Or for money for drugs.
Yeah. Either way, yes. So
yeah. count me in, man. Great movie. Love
Yeah.
it. Good pick, Andy.
It
I
is.
appreciate it. I appreciate it. And you know, in 2008, it was probably pretty tough to come out with a comedy that people really enjoyed.
Yeah.
You
it
know,
was-
I mean, you're looking at the age of fucking
Will
There's a lot.
Ferrell and
Will Ferrell and I mean Seth Rogen and shit, and then you know, and Paul Rudd rode those Seth Rogen coattails. He did a very nice job of that, and got himself a couple of movies out of it. And this one
Yeah.
happens to be a really good one. Everybody kind of likes, you know, Knocked Up or whatever. I'm not a real monster fan of it. It's good the first time you watch it. The second time it's okay. Then after that, I'm kind of like, nah, not really.
Yeah.
But you know, and yeah, this is a good Paul Rudd solid comedy. And I like movies where they kind of do the R-rated kid thing, you know, like Bad Santa, even that other one, Billy Bob Thornton, Bad News Bears. I like. I
Bad
like.
News Bears was great.
You know, I like that. Super Bad. I guess they were teenagers, but you know,
Yeah.
whatever.
So Herschel, what are the legal? What do you have to get? You just get parents' permission to put your kid in a movie like this, where they cuss and things like that. Is there any other type
Oh,
of paperwork that has to be done?
No, it's Hollywood. They don't care.
Yeah.
They got a pedophile ring.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how they get the adrenochrome. I mean, or whatever they call that shit. You know, the baby. No, yeah, you just sign a release, and that's that pretty much, man.
Just want your kid in the movie.
Yeah.
If you're a stage mom, but wasn't Haladen one of these guys? He did like Laird, that kind of stuff. I thought he was, but
Something, man, or
I think it might have. Yeah.
Magic
Yeah,
the Gathering, some shit.
yeah, and let me tell you, he was always in my duty section, and he's probably one of the most enjoyable people I've ever been around. Just learning from him and listening to him talk. You know, some of my best watches were standing with Haladen, and that was like, and you just like learn of this other world that he's living in.
Yeah.
You know, and I sit there and I said, you know, this guy, you know, it's like, where else in the military, you know, you meet these people, and then you end up hanging out with these people, and you're with them, and you learn about them, even though they're different. You're all different, and yet you're all hanging around each other,
Yeah.
enjoying what each other's saying. And he was one of those guys, and he used to tell me some pretty dirty shit too.
No,
But,
yeah.
Grosses me
The
out.
winking eye joke was a good one too.
The whispering eye.
The whispering eye.
I was going to bring that up again because we brought it up before. What is your favorite words for like vagina? But Sabrina's not here.
Yeah.
I don't know if we ever brought this one up.
Probably not.
We did
Yeah.
I
think
don't
about
think
it.
so.
Why don't you get your whispering eye in the taxi?
I said whispering eye. I just thought that's a weird thing. You know,
Yeah.
I don't know if
recommend.
he's.
I do recommend looking up. I mean that little black kid's hilarious, man. I don't know. That dude had me in. He was cracking me up. Dude, when he called him Ben Affleck, I thought that
Reindeer
was hilarious.
games?
He dropped reindeer games on him. I mean, I get it. He's supposed to be the the kid that is so tough, but he needs love too.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, they basically spelled it out during the
realize he wasn't.
reconciliation point. Where he's like, he's 10 years old, but sometimes he's so tough. Sometimes I don't even know anything that hurts him. You know, like that's exactly what the character was supposed to be. You know, so I mean, I get it. It's kind of corny, har. But man, dude, that he played that thing up. I really do recommend checking out that Human Giant season 1 and watching some of that sketch shit with that kid in there because it's fucking funny. He's and I mean, I imagine now he's kind of like, you know, walking around at bars and stuff. They're like, you look familiar. He's like, yeah, I was in Role Models. I'll draw you a picture of you fucking a robot for $10.
Yeah, he's not that big now. I mean, I saw him. You know, he's a young adult in that movie School Dance, which has got its hilarious parts, and it's a Nick Cannon movie.
Mhm.
Oh, I will get that.
School Dance. You see the clip all the time of Cat Williams in jail talking to saying, whose motherfucking white baby is that? That's from School Dance.
Yeah.
So it's Bobby Thompson's also in that. I know Bobby Thompson has played like Tracy Morgan's kid in a sitcom before.
Yeah, he was on
Yeah.
And I
Everybody
think
Hates
on
Chris.
30 Rockers. And
Yeah.
on 30 Rock.
Yeah. It checks out. All right. Well, let's go to the EMI. I guess. So I decided I like the recast, reboot type thing. So yeah, you could recast it either if you redid the movie today, or you could just do it back then, those kind of actors, of 2008 ilk. Let's see kind of how everybody redid this movie. Start with Adam.
And I got Sabrina's recast as well. If you
Oh,
want.
nice.
I got two versions. Version number one,
And
keeping
Carl
it
Urban was not requirement.
exactly, but keeping it in theme with the Seamen on Film, I did use
Yeah.
Carl Urban, and
Nice.
I casted him as Danny.
Like it.
I casted Chris Hemsworth as Wheeler, and then I casted Kat Dennings as Gail. And then version number two is I'm a big fan of Joe Lou, so I did a Brooklyn Nine-Nine recasting. So Andy Samberg as Danny, Joe Lou as Wheeler, and then Stephanie Beatrice as Gail.
Nice.
And then Sabrina had, just one second, Josh Segarra as Danny, Timothy Chalamet as the King,
Mhm.
and then Carl Urban she had as the bad dad.
Ken Marino.
Yeah.
Or they're like describing. He's like, well, what's wrong with him? And Ken Marino's doing this shit going,
Yeah.
It was like it wasn't even really the dad, it was like the uncle.
Yeah, or
Meaning that he was
something.
dating Lynette there. Yeah,
Lynette.
good. All right. Chris.
Okay, I'm gonna do a Herschel version. I think Herschel would like Danny as Jonathan Silverman.
I'll buy it.
Wheeler Andrew McCarthy,
I'll buy it.
Mhm.
and Jane Lynch's character as Molly Ringwald.
Oh,
But then my
Nice.
version was I had kind of, if you ever watched the movie The Rocker,
Yeah.
I've got Danny as Bradley Cooper, Wheeler as Will Arnett, and King Gargatron would be Fred Armisen, since they were all in the band Vesuvius together.
No, nice.
Nerd.
from Andy's backyard.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. Herschel.
So I gender flipped it a little bit, and for our two leads, I don't know, I was in a pitch perfect kind of mood,
Hey, if it works, it works.
so I did Rebel Wilson and Anna Kendrick for our two leads. So
Mhm.
Anna Kendrick, obviously, she's going to be not Danny, but I guess a girl can be Danny.
Yeah, she'd be Danielle. Yeah.
Danny with an
Yeah.
eye.
Yeah.
Yeah, with an eye,
Yeah.
one eye.
And a heart for
Um,
a dot,
So for the Jane Lynch character, I did Norm Macdonald.
Rest in peace. Nice. Love it.
'Cause- yeah, but 2008,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
And then for then for Beth, which is not going to be Beth, so I mean I didn't rename him. I did Jason Bateman.
Okay. I like it. That'd be good. Yeah. As a
I like
lawyer.
Little,
You're gonna
little
have to
gender
do
flip.
about 150 hours of community service. And
Yeah.
yeah. Fun. All right. Joe.
Like I stated before, I think there has to be a lot of cohesiveness to make a lot of this stuff work in this movie.
Uh-huh.
Friendships forged. That being said, this is a tough recast for me because all the people that I already think that have done that are already in this movie. So I went with another group of people that I think play well off each other. I picked Danny to be Glenn Howerton.
Okay. Nice.
I have Charlie Day as Wheeler. Sweet D Reynolds. She's going to be Jane Lynch. and then Mac was going to be some sort of weird version of Gary.
Gary.
what's his-
Martin Gary.
Martin Gary.
Oh, gotcha.
So I figure between those four people being able to play off each other, you might be able to pull out a pretty decent movie.
Yeah,
You know,
like it.
I was trying to figure out a way to work the Workaholics guys in there, but because another group of people that I think are
Great.
they work well, they work best together.
Yeah.
You know, so
Well,
Yeah.
can I ask you something, Joe?
go ahead.
Did you like the movie The Intern?
Which one is that one?
Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway.
I don't think I ever saw that. I saw The Accountant. That's got Ben Affleck in it. It's pretty sick.
The Intern is a comedy with kind of a dramedy, but with Robert De Niro and Anne Hathaway.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
They
Not to be confused with the internship, which was
yeah, with Owen Wilson and them.
I like
but
that one. That's pretty fun.
but Anders Holm and
Yeah.
his name
Okay.
Adam Devine were in that movie.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Anders was Anne Hathaway's boyfriend or
Husband.
something, right?
Husband in that one.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
I play that role.
Yeah. All right. So
I play it once a month, I think.
it's a good film. It's fun. Yeah, for mine, I did so I have, let's go, Jay Bucarell then as Danny, and then Eric Andre as Wheeler. 'Cause again, they'd have that chemistry from doing Man Seeking Woman or whatever that FX show ran. Augie, I'd go with Sean Jambroni, who's who plays what's his face? Kevin or whatever on Goldberg's, yeah. Or Adam on Goldberg's. And then for Sweeney, I recast Jane Lynch to Tig Notaro.
You talk about deadpan humor. Jeez,
She's great.
Something's wrong with her. Just the way she talks is funny.
Yeah. Yeah. Then the other one was the top 5 for this movie was top 5 qualities in a role model, since the movie was role models. So we'll go reverse and we'll start with Joe.
What is
The top 5.
Oh no. That's sort of my
Oh,
my thing I'm doing here. What is a role model?
Oh shit.
Give us
I mean,
the vote.
I don't. I mean, I don't speak for everybody, but I would say that role model is somebody that might they're willing to do anything for their loved ones, for the ones they may call friends. They may scam a blind woman out of a bus. They may get a finger in their butt to get some semen extracted so that they can, afford the road trip home.
Yep.
EL from Road Trip, played by Sean William Scott,
Good role model.
is a good role model.
Oh man.
A good role model is willing to hang out with his bros and unwind a little bit and enjoy the greater things in life. Chester Greenberg from Dude, Where's My Car, played by Sean William Scott, is that man. The ability to communicate with your peers on a level that they can understand, they can get behind you. That makes a role model. Stifler in American Pie, played by Sean William Scott, has all that and more.
Yeah.
Sometimes a role model will have to take their petty bullshit that they, struggle with daily, being selfish, living for only themselves, But to put that aside for the greater good, that's Carr and Bulletproof Monk, played by Sean William Scott. And last but
That's the
not
other one I haven't
least,
seen.
last but not least, sometimes you just have to fucking fight. That's Doug Glatt, Goon, played by Sean William Scott.
Did you do a Welcome to Flatch reference?
No, I only needed 5, but I mean, I could have.
So I was wondering if he was going to hit the rundown or not on that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
I had a
The
couple
last one with the
things.
needing to fight could have worked there too.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Where I
Thunder,
thought,
Little Lightning.
Bravo.
I like that you brought up EL from Road Trip because he was the one putting all the fucking ideas and,
Yeah.
he was the leader of that group, obviously.
I also
What,
feel
you
I should have
fucking
had
cheater?
go last if I would have known that was his presentation, because it's a tough act to follow. So good luck, Herschel.
Yeah, well, you're not getting none of that shit.
Yeah.
So
Bring it back down to earth, big fella.
yeah, right. None
You're
of
the
this,
old sage.
None of this. I'm all hopped up on twisted tea over here. But so obviously, what do you want in a role model? I mean, you're looking at it, but
Yeah.
so a sense of humor, right? Some
Yeah.
form of intelligence, and intelligence has got a lot of different forms. It's not all on the ASVAB.
Mhm.
Sarcasm, but there has to be humor with that, because just being sarcastic is not funny. And the ability to say no, and we already talked about it, just like he did, Wheeler did with the juice. That's how you say no to a child. And last, for me at least, is you got to have good movie and music sense. You know what I'm saying? Because these are the things you want to pass on to the children. Not this everyday shit. You want to take it back and tell them what's right. Tell them what's good. So yeah, there you go. Next time I'll have more twisted tea and maybe I'll have a better presentation.
Good list. Chris.
On here.
Well, number one, they have to be responsible. You can't go fucking a teacher in a room and leave this, young black youth playing soccer. He's not good at that game. It's going to be over quick. So responsible is number one, but you also have to be dangerous. All right. I can't just have some pussy as a role model. I got to be able to think whenever I go out with this guy, I'm completely safe, or a woman, I'm completely safe when I'm out with them, because they have an edge to them. Nobody's going to fuck with them. They're not going to let anybody fuck with you. And they're going to show you how to walk the street. Number three, they have to, I want to say intelligence, but I put cool job, career-minded, cool job. All right. I don't want to have an accountant as my role model. What do you do all day? Crunch numbers, that kind of thing. Number two, you gotta have, you have to have honesty. You can't just sit there and tell people what they want to hear. And a good thing about honesty was the juice. Fuck you, bitch. And throws it in. But yeah, was that the ability to say no, Herschel?
That is 100%.
And of course, number one, sarcasm. I gotta have a funny role model. Somebody that's going to teach me social cues and all of this, saying, hey, I'm being sarcastic, dipshit. Listen up. I had that in my life. I had brothers, cousins, uncles, the neighborhood I grew up in a neighborhood, probably similar to Ronnie's. And you had to know how to talk shit and know how to take shit. And that's how you got along. So me going into the Navy and being around all of you guys, it was just like, okay, this is my type of environment here. I know how to operate in this environment. That's mine.
Yeah. Adam.
I'll do
You
Sabrina.
or Sabrina's, yeah, either one.
Yeah, I'll do Sabrina's first. She just had a list of role models based on when she was a child.
Okay.
She had a Jane Goodall.
Talks to monkeys. Good.
yeah.
Like it.
Xena Warrior Princess.
Excellent.
Has that sweet circlet that she throws around. Yeah, it's good.
Love it.
I like it.
Alanis Obama Swain.
I don't know
What
who
the
that
fuck?
is.
Who?
Alanis
Morissette? No.
Swain.
I think Morissette would be better in this situation.
She's
Uh,
Canadian, right?
Does she say who that lady was?
No.
Okay.
I'm interested though. I'll look it
Yeah.
up later.
We'll get it on the follow-up episode.
Trini, the Yellow Power Ranger, and last but not least, Frida Kahlo.
Oh, Free
Who?
Kahlo.
She wants one fucking eyebrow. That's a role.
Right?
And then for me, I kept it in theme with Seamen on Film, and I have, and movie watchers and the military. So with in no particular order, I went with Dedication as portrayed by Mel Gibson as Lieutenant Colonel Hal Moore in We Were Soldiers. Dutifulness as portrayed by Tom Hanks as Captain Miller in Saving Private Ryan.
Mhm.
The ability to build camaraderie as portrayed by Brad Pitt as Staff Sergeant Collier in the movie Fury.
Mhm.
And then last but not least, honor, courage, and commitment is portrayed by Chief Retired Chris Machiavecchio and Chief Retired Herschel Mims.
Funny.
Yay.
Yeah.
There we go. There
Hey,
we
well,
go.
who was I talking to about jacking off gorillas? Was that wasn't anybody in this group, was
I
it?
retract Chris Machiavecchio as a role model.
I retract my name from this entire podcast.
No, I told Adam a Norm Macdonald joke when we were at our meeting.
Yeah.
They're like, "Where's the bathroom?" And I said, "There's two of them back there. One says, ladies. The other one says, gentlemen. But pay no heed. You walk right in. They don't have one that says scoundrel."
All right. My top 5 qualities and role model. It's one, they should be trustworthy. You want somebody that you can have faith in and whatever, and whether they're leading you or inspiring you in that sense. They should have pure intentions. They should kind of honestly believe in whatever kind of mantras they have, or what they're trying to teach people, that it's an actually that they're not only committed to that goal, but they also believe it's for the betterment of society. They need to be brave, because a lot of time they're the leader and they're going to take that first step in forging that path. You're gonna be helpful. They're willing to go and help out their followers or the less fortunate or whatever, help people around them. And then they should be inspiring and or like a motivator. You want to inspire those people to follow you, if you are a role model and setting forth a good path for children, or lost young adults or whatever it is at that point. But yeah, so those are the 5 qualities I went for.
You should have just said Barack Obama.
Sure. Yeah, so I guess, is this a deployment movie? And then we'll do the rating. So real quick, Adam, yes or no?
100% aye.
Did Sabrina give her answer on that? or no?
She didn't now.
Okay, that's fine.
So it's aye.
Yes, we'll go with majority rules. And Chris, is this a deployment movie?
Oh yeah, since we all talked about in the language of this movie for months after it.
Yeah. Herschel?
Absolutely 100%.
All right. Joe?
100%. No doubt in my mind. Any Stifler vehicle is a deployment movie.
Yeah.
Any of them.
I do agree. It's definitely a deployment movie. It's fun. It's got enough inside jokes and whatever else, whether you're talking like Jolo or you know, you're gonna pretend that you're the king and try and get one of your seamen or third classes to, you know, cut your pancakes at breakfast or something for you. You know, all those things could happen. Yeah, I mean, it's you know, it's funny still, and I don't know how well it holds up per se. I mean, I just felt to a degree like the writing came off as kind of lazy, but you know, it still works. So it's I don't know, I felt like at times it was like this movie wasn't as good as I remembered it, but still like watchable and like enjoyable kind of thing. So that'll lead into ratings. I'm gonna I'll give my rating a 7. Let's go to Herschel. Just go random here.
I would agree with you. I think 7's fair overall. It is really good, man. But I 7 also, man. It's good stuff.
Mm-hmm. Right, Adam.
So rented this movie and I was like, man, this is really good. It's as good or better than I remember. And then I was flipping through Pluto TV and they have a 2000s category. And I was like, let me watch some more movies from this era.
Yeah.
And then I saw Harold and Kumar and I was like, oh man, that was a really good movie. I was like, is it better or worse than Role Models? And then I saw Euro Trip and I was like, man, that was a terrible movie. So that actually bumped up Role Models a half a point.
Okay.
So I'm giving Role Models a 7.5.
All right. Chris.
I'm giving it a 7. 7 Dixie Cups. Solid movie. I laugh when I watch it. I still, right when you say it's not a cow, it's a Minotaur, and he got this one out of your mom's closet. That right there. Just every time I laugh. I know it's coming. And I laugh. I know Joe Lo Trulio is want to fucking talk like that. And I laugh every time. So 7, solid 7.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Joe.
I like Adam's review quite a bit, and for that, I'm going to give it a 7.5 as well. I was kind of on the fence of where I was going to be with this, but yeah, Adam's right. Euro Trip was kind of fucking stupid, and everybody really liked it at that time. But
so did I.
Yeah, so
did
I
have to
and
rewatch Euro Trip. Or
it's dude, it's just not. I mean, it's okay.
No.
But
think-
dude, it's not even, dude, it doesn't even register on fucking the funny meter when you put it up against like, this is a solid movie from the like the the late 2000s. I mean, this is a movie that still rings kind of true with, you know, I mean, like what kind of tickles your funny bone. It's not over the top, like it's not like fucking dude jerking off on a fucking donut or something, or just some or you know, we're drinking absinthe and I see a fucking fairy and then I, you know, whatever the fuck, like all that shit is not as good. We know it for sure. And then this movie just happens to be, you know, like it just lays below the radar on a solid fucking funny ass movie that, yeah, I mean, it's I think it should be, I don't know, if we put like a 2000s rating on comedies, I think this would slip into my top 10 in the entire 2000 to 2010. I think this movie would probably slip into my top 10 if I was only judging comedies from that decade.
Yeah.
You know, it's way better than some of those things Adam just said. You know, 7.5 is a solid score for this movie, because I tell people if they haven't watched it, they're dumb and they should watch it. You know, and then they do, and they apologize for not watching it this long. Don't tell me, tell Paul.
Yeah.
He's in Kansas City this weekend.
He's hanging out visiting mom.
He's playing wiffle ball.
Yeah. IMDb has it at 6.8. So it's we're higher than that. Yeah, Euro Trip, I think we all liked it just because of the Matt Damon
Yep.
cameo at the first. I'm banging his
Matt Damon cameo and
Scotty doesn't know.
Fred Armisen.
We were singing Scotty
Yeah,
doesn't
on the
know for
train.
forever.
There's nudity in it too. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong.
Sure. Then
You
we
know,
were
and he was-
expecting the one guy to be the next like David Spade or something, and then he kind of wasn't, but then he was in Justified, so I don't know how that plays out really.
I don't. Yeah, I don't. I think Michelle Trachtenberg is the only person I've seen in other stuff
Yeah.
from that movie.
I think that's fair.
Sabrina gave it a 6.5, and
Okay.
and she also said yes, it's a deployment movie.
Okay. Nice. Cool. Well, that
I
concludes.
think we all can agree that we like this movie then.
She,
Yeah,
Next
yeah.
time watching it.
Sabrina kind of enjoyed it.
Yeah,
It's awesome. It's awesome.
good. Shame she couldn't be here for our discussion of synonyms. Yeah. Yeah, so
Synonyms.
guess we
Add
go
them
to
in the
the
comments.
what's that?
Add your favorite synonyms for vagina in the comments.
Yeah.
We'll have our viewers add their favorites as well.
Right.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
all of you. Whispering Eye, if there's something you've heard of, Ham Wallet. You know,
Whisker biscuit.
All right, I'm not doing this.
Flesh lettuce.
Or
My favorite.
what's your favorite role model quality that Sean William Scott embodies based on his movie roles? I also definitely want to hear more of that, from the audience.
right.
But yeah, so what do we go to the wheel now, and who's got the next?
it's Sabrina.
Yeah.
I have
She had
Sabrina's,
Sabrina's pick.
I have Sabrina's movie pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. Let me prepare for this.
She doesn't have any EMI in her text, but I just have her.
Okay. Well, that's fine. She can give us the EMI.
You can let us know, Yeah.
I forget her category, but she chose the movie 9 to 5.
Dolly Parton.
Dolly
had
Parton?
80 She
Yeah.
had 80s comedy, maybe? Or she had 80 free for all?
80s free for all sounds legit.
Yeah. Okay.
All
All
right.
right. That sounds
What
fun.
year is this movie?
That's been on
1980.
recently too. though.
That's like 1980, 1981, maybe.
1980. It came out.
Well, Dabney Coleman,
Yeah. Lily Tomlin.
Underrated guy.
Okay, I'm actually really into this because
I haven't watched
don't
this movie in
think-
a long time, but I remember it was enjoyable.
Yeah.
It's been on lately too. So I mean,
All right, and who's
On
up
Prime.
next?
Who's after Sabrina?
I think I'm after Sabrina.
Herschel, when is your turn?
Did you
I
go
don't
after Joe Herschel?
I really don't
Like,
remember. I
I
honestly
swear we
don't.
skipped you.
Whatever.
I can
man.
tell you guys right now because I have a log of it right here in front of me. Okay. Hold on. Oh, that was too many pages on this one movie we did. I didn't realize I had to.
Right in front of you, huh?
Well, yeah. Okay, it went. Here we go. We got Adam, Andy, and then for sure after
Brandon.
that we had Sabrina after Andy. Then Chris was Last Action Hero, and then after Chris was
Joe,
me. No.
raised in Arizona.
Oh shit. Oh, that's because we had a weird time with
Herschel missed a couple.
when Herschel missed. And then Tango and Cash was after. Who picked Tango and Cash?
I did.
Adam.
Okay, that was Adam. And then after that, we had Train to Busan
That
That
was
was
me.
Herschel.
because Herschel jumped in. And then after Train to Busan, we had Wedding Singer.
Which is
That was
me.
awesome.
So we slotted Herschel in because he missed things and it
And
went between me and Adam.
Sabrina.
Yeah.
So
okay.
then
Herschel,
after
do you want to go
Sabrina was-
after Chris?
Yeah, that's fine, man.
Okay.
Okay.
I ain't getting paid for this. It's fine.
Are you guys ready?
We need
Yeah.
your good movies though.
Yeah. Clearly.
I guess we could also come up with more synonyms for 9 to 5. Ooh, AFI top 100.
Our first AFI top 100.
Nice.
I just watched The Wizard of Oz the other night.
Is that your movie? No, I'm just kidding.
I got to look
I'll
at
tell you
that
what,
list.
as a-
man. I don't.
As a guy from the great state of Kansas, I'm okay with Wizard of Oz, dude. I'm in. I'm in.
Will you
Are you
tell
a good witch or are you
tell
a
us
bad
all
witch?
the set inaccuracies when they're in?
Oh, of course.
Okay.
Of course.
Oh, so when I was on Wheel of Fortune, they filmed Jeopardy and everything on the Sony picture lot. That's where they did The Wizard of Oz
Yeah.
in Culver City.
All
I
right.
didn't see a Yellow Brick Road.
Nice.
I think that sets us up for next month.
Cool. Which
Let's
we're
see.
looking at what, June 5th?
Yes.
No, that's my birthday. I don't think I will.
That's right after mine. So yeah.
We'll figure it out. Say goodnight,
Good night.
everybody.
Good night,
night, everybody.
everybody.